As I said after the first test match, you try and learn from your mistakes. That's all you can try and do when you come to these conditions, because it is foreign for us. No matter how many times you've played here, it's still tough conditions to play in. And for me, it's just about making sure that you're improving as a team and you're trying to get better and you learn from your mistakes. And I think the way that we batted in the second innings and even signs in the first innings showed that we've taken some learning, just even in the way that we've played, the way that we've gone about trying to put a score on the board. But Tiennes today played really, really well, and he showed us that once you get in, the ball does get a bit softer, it gets a bit easier. But as a whole batting unit, what we've done throughout the series is we lost a lot of wickets early, and that made sure that the ball was new for pretty much most of the innings, which makes it a little bit tougher. But we weren't good enough. I won't try and make excuses. Nothing was wrong with the pitches. From a skill point of view, we have to be better than what we produced. If we get bowled out for 200, then we should bowl the team out for 200 as well. So we showed that in both bat and ball, we need to get better in these conditions. But there is positives that guys can take away. Someone like Tiennes and Bavuma, who I'm sure will have an opportunity to come back in 3-4 years' time to Sri Lanka, will learn from what they did well here, and they'll share that hopefully with the teams coming in. I think it's a world issue. I don't think it's a South African issue. If you look at all the countries when they're touring the subcontinent, it's difficult for them. Every time a subcontinent team plays against, whether it's called Australia or England or us, there's always question marks about the ability to how you play spin. So I think that's a world issue that obviously we want to try and get better at. And as I said before this test match, I don't think we play spin badly. But if you compare yourself to the subcontinent batters, and obviously they're a step above us in that regard. But when it comes to playing on green pitches and seaming pitches, we obviously think that we can adapt better to those conditions. So it has to be probably a cause of looking at how you can get your own home conditions to try and, as batsmen, when you grow up in the first class game, how you can get exposed to conditions like this a little bit more often. And that's where the challenge lies for, South Africa's and the Englands and the Australias of the world. I think generally, as I said before, that generally test matches don't go 5 days anymore. You don't see 500 being posted often. I can only think of India versus Sri Lanka, or India versus Bangladesh when the wickets are a little bit better, because both teams have very good players of spin and spin bowlers in their side. So I think at the moment definitely the game is moving towards quicker results. The game is fast forward as well. T20 cricket has introduced that into Test cricket, where everything happens at a quicker pace. But definitely from a conditions point of view, it is a little bit harder than I think it used to be. As you can see now, even in South Africa, as you say, you get 250, 280, and as a batting unit, you feel like you've done your job. No, it's obvious. Like I said, teams these days trying to make sure they can maximise their opportunity to try and win a game. So for us, it will be similar to last time when they came over. Obviously spin, hoping not to be a factor, and just we've got a really good seam attack, so the pitches will have some pace and bounce. And from a batting perspective, we are more comfortable dealing with those conditions. So it will be the same as the last time they were there. Nothing ridiculous. Minimum, if it was up to me, it would be 3 test match series. If there was a 1-1 result, that you could still play for the second one, so you get a result. But all Test cricket it's under pressure at the moment when it comes to the amount of tests that we're playing, and also financially, obviously, with the games not going 5 days anymore. People are losing a lot of money. Day 4 and 5, you're not getting the crowds coming in anymore. So that means that it's under pressure. So it's important that the game is strong, and Test cricket is strong. For me, it's still the pinnacle of cricket. That's why it will always be my favourite format. And that's why I'm a big fan of trying to make sure that we do everything possible to sustain Test cricket. Yeah, they're 2 very big players that we lost. But I think even someone like Morne Morkel, in these conditions, we've seen now we've learned the hard way, we've learned the lessons. And I'm very happy to say that we unfortunately made a mistake in playing the three seamers that we did. Our expectations was that the ball would once again reverse, and in both test matches we saw no reverse swing play a role. So that's the learning for us as a brains trust, that our way of trying to perhaps come into the subcontinent needs to adapt, whether it's playing two or even maybe three spinners when you come to conditions like this, to give yourself the best opportunity. Balance is always a challenge for that, so that was one of the reasons why it was difficult for us to go like that. And then obviously AB, I mean, AB is a good player, he would do well in any condition, so you're going to miss a player like that, and it will take time for guys to get to the level of where AB is, someone like Tienes will be, hopefully in the future, him and Temba and Quinny and those guys will be great players. But when someone like AB retires, it's not just like someone steps into his shoes and you guarantee the average of 50 plus. It takes time, and he's a world-class player. But the team moves on from him now. It's a new era of batting that started. Yeah, it was frustrating for Dale because he gives everything, as you saw when he was running in, and there was nothing happening for him, there was no reverse swing, there was no pace out of the wicket, so he kept trying. So I think the next time that he has a red ball in his hand, there will be a little bit more assistance when we play against Pakistan next. But I'm expecting Dale to still be I know he's motivated, so I'm expecting him to come back and put in some good performances. I think it will be unfair to judge our seam bowlers on these conditions. It was really tough for them. They tried hard, but it was just really, really tough to get something out of the wicket. The wicket was quite dusty. As you saw, there was a lot of balls that when it hit, it made a little bit of an explosion. So that shows you it just takes out completely all of the pace out of the wicket. So our pace factor that we had as the threat was not a weapon in these conditions.